The Galactic Council chamber fell silent when the small human child walked in. Ambassador Zoe Winters had faced down warlords, negotiated with hive minds, and stared into the cold eyes of synthetic intelligence collectives without flinching. But the little girl standing before her podium, clutching a worn, stuffed animal, made something in her chest tighten. "I don't have a mom," the child said, her voice barely carrying across the crystalline floor. "Can I spend a day with you, Dragon Lady?" Dragon Lady. The nickname had followed Zoe across 3-star systems. The Krenth delegation had coined it after she'd rejected their invasion proposal with such ferocity that their translator matrices had temporarily overloaded. Among humans it was whispered with respect. Among the wider galaxy, with fear. The child couldn't have been more than 7 standard years old. Her name was Mira, and she'd somehow slipped past 6 layers of security to reach the council floor during the human delegation's most crucial negotiation in a decade. Theo Martinez, Zoe's attaché and the only other human in the chamber, moved to intercept the girl, but Zoe raised a hand. The Vrelian ambassador, a being of pure energy contained within a magnetic field, pulsed with what their species considered amusement. The Krenth delegation's throat sacs inflated with indignation. "The human specimen displays breach of protocol," hissed Ambassador Threx, his scales rippling with displeasure. "Remove it immediately." Zoe's eyes flashed. "She's not a specimen. She's a child." "Semantics. Your species' juvenile is disrupting matters of galactic importance." Zoe descended from her podium, her diplomatic robes flowing behind her like wings. She knelt before Mira, eye to eye. "Why did you call me Dragon Lady, sweetheart?" Mira's fingers tightened on her stuffed animal. A crude representation of a dragon, Zoe now realized. "Because everyone says you breathe fire when you talk, and dragons protect treasure. I thought, maybe you could protect me, just for one day." The story came out in fragments. Mira was part of the human colony on Station Aurelius, orphaned when a reactor malfunction had claimed both parents. The station's social services were overwhelmed, stretched thin by a recent refugee crisis. Mira had been shuffled through foster care, temporary housing, and group facilities. She'd seen Zoe on the station's news feeds, had watched her defend human colonies against predatory trade agreements and territorial disputes. In the child's mind, the Dragon Lady could fix anything. "This is highly irregular," Theo whispered, appearing at Zoe's shoulder. "We're in the middle of the Outer Rim Accord negotiations." Zoe stood, lifting Mira onto her hip with the ease of someone who'd once had a child of her own. A detail few in the galaxy knew, a wound time had scarred, but never healed. "Then we negotiate with her." The chamber erupted. The Krenth delegation screeched their objections. The Vrelian pulsed with confusion. Even the normally stoic Andromedian observers shifted in their gravity wells. "Unacceptable!" Threx slammed his primary appendage against his console. "We will not conduct galactic policy with a human juvenile present." Zoe's smile was all teeth. "Then I suppose the Outer Rim Accord will have to wait. The human delegation takes a recess." "You cannot—" "We're not a hive species, Ambassador Threx. We don't discard our children for efficiency. This little girl walked through 6 security checkpoints because every adult in her life failed her. If the Galactic Council cannot pause for one day to address that, then perhaps this council isn't worth humanity's participation." The bluff was enormous. The Outer Rim Accord would determine shipping rights for the next century. Billions of credits hung in balance. But Zoe had learned something the other species hadn't. Humans didn't negotiate well when they were angry, and abandoning a child made them furious. Theo's expression shifted from concern to understanding. He tapped his comm. "All human delegates, we're taking a personal day. Cite Protocol 7. Protocol 7, the human right to prioritize individual welfare over collective efficiency. Other species found it baffling. Humans found it non-negotiable. What followed was a day that would become legend in diplomatic circles. Zoe spent the morning showing Mira the human delegation's quarters, letting her try on diplomatic medals, teaching her the difference between aggressive posturing and genuine threats. Theo brought lunch from the station's human district, real Earth food, not synthesized protein. In the afternoon, something unexpected happened. The Vrelian ambassador requested a brief meeting. Their energy matrix pulsed with curiosity. "We do not understand your species' attachment to individual juveniles, but we observe you become formidable when they are threatened. Is this a military advantage?" Zoe laughed, a genuine sound that surprised everyone, including herself. "It's not military strategy. It's called love. We protect our children not because they make us stronger, but because they are our future. Every child is treasure." The Vrelian pulsed thoughtfully and departed. By evening, word had spread through the station. Human colonists began arriving with small gifts for Mira: toys, clothes, offers of housing. The human community, fractured and struggling under the weight of frontier life, united around one forgotten child. Theo pulled Zoe aside. "The Krenth are furious, but they've agreed to resume negotiations tomorrow. They're actually impressed. They're asking if this is a new human negotiation tactic." Zoe looked at Mira, who was laughing as another human child showed her a holographic game. "Maybe it is. Maybe showing the galaxy what we value is more important than showing them what we'll trade." When the day ended, Mira had 3 potential foster families to choose from, all properly vetted. She chose the Hendersons, a couple who ran a hydroponics bay and who'd lost their own daughter to the same reactor malfunction. Before she left, Mira hugged Zoe fiercely. "Are you really a dragon?" Zoe smiled, the dragon lady mask slipping to reveal something softer underneath. "Only when I need to be. But you, little one, you've got dragon fire in you too. You walked through 6 security checkpoints. That's braver than anything I've done." The next day, negotiations resumed. The Krenth were more conciliatory. The Vrelian had apparently been researching human concepts of love and family all night. Even the Andromedians seemed slightly less indifferent. Ambassador Threx approached Zoe before the session began. "Your species is inefficient, irrational, but perhaps formidable because of it, not despite it." Zoe's smile was pure dragon. "We prefer the term human." The Outer Rim Accord passed with terms favorable to humanity, but more importantly, Station Aurelius established a new child welfare system funded by donations from across the human colonies. They called it Mira's House. And throughout the galaxy, the Dragon Lady's legend grew, not as a fierce negotiator who breathed fire, but as the human who stopped a galactic council for one forgotten child. Because that, more than any warship or trade agreement, was what made humanity formidable. They protected their treasure.